Today we're talking about communication and storytelling.
Hustle over everything. Clem Dwyer, 2025.
You are the district champion?
Yes, District 60 Toastmaster International Speaking Competition Champion.
How long have you been in Toastmasters?
It's been 11 years.
It's been 11 years.
11 years.
You know, he knows how to articulate himself. Was it always like that for you?
No, I grew up with a stuttering problem. So it's a speech
Really?
impediment.
You too?
Yes. Yeah, the shocking thing is when I tell people this, people who I spoke to, eyes open, go, I had one growing up as well. And they were surprised that I moved into the area of public speaking because they refused to do public speaking.
Like, I want to get into the nitty gritties because
Right.
I want someone to listen to this and be able to have it in their back pocket when they're going to present to their board, when they're going to present in front of their class. You know, like, let's get to some of the mental frameworks you use to help prepare.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Hello and welcome back to Hustle Over Everything. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about communication and storytelling. So honestly, this has been a blessing. This has fell into my lap. Usually I am avidly looking for guests, and this one just happened to stumble upon me. Today we're talking about the power of storytelling with Clem Dwyer.
Yes.
How you doing, man?
Awesome. Alive and kicking, bro.
Most definitely. So for the audience, for the people, Clem is an award-winning speaker. You're part of Toastmasters.
Correct.
And you are the district champion?
Yes, District 60 Toastmaster International Speaking Competition Champion.
Break that down. What is the process of winning something like that?
Excellent question. Well, the process is you go through about 4 different levels. So you go through your club level, then you go through your division, then you go through your district, or through your area, and then your district. And at the convention, which is at the end of the springtime, we have a group of people come together and you compete. And it could be up to 8, 9 different people that will come on stage and you will present your message. And there's judges that you don't know who they are. Listen to your speech, and then at the end of the day, if your speech works out, they like it, you win.
So how long have you been in Toastmasters? What's been this journey that you've been on, going from not knowing how to speak publicly to being a champion?
Yeah, it's been 11 years.
It's been 11 years.
11 years, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a journey because there was a time where I started and then I had to stop for family situation and then come back into it. So the journey has been eventful, none to say the least.
Okay, all right. So what we're here to talk about is really just getting into how to have a proper story.
Yes.
You know, what are some of the tenets of having a proper story?
Biggest thing, first of all, is who's your audience?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to tell the story to an audience of someone who's not going to be relevant to. So that's what the number one part is, curating a story that's going to be relevant to your audience. So know your audience, curate the story that you want to effectively impact them. The next thing about the story you want to have, it's got to be personal, it's got to be relatable, it has to be memorable. And I put those 3 keys in because if it's not memorable, then how are people going to apply what you've said? If it's not relatable, why would they even do it? Because they don't know if it's worked for you, why would it work for them? And the personal part is amazing because people love to hear your journey and know that it's not someone else's journey, but it's yours. And when you talk about going through a situation, going through a problem, going through a trial, they know you're not making this stuff up. They know that you've been through the fire, you've been through the flames, and you've come out on the other side. And that gives them the encouragement to say, you know something, I too can do it because Clem was able to do it, because Mike was able to do it, because Chris was able to do it. Whomever was speaking, they love that because it draws the emotion. So that's what I say those 3 points are. Make it personal, relatable, and memorable.
Okay. Gems. Now, let's take a step back, man. What's your ethnicity? Like, where are you from?
I'm actually 100% Canadian.
Okay.
My parents are Jamaican. So I'm first generation Canadian.
Okay. Now, do you feel like you can properly claim being Jamaican?
No.
Being first gen?
No. I've been to Jamaica.
Yeah.
And when you get off the plane, they know you're not Jamaican. They know you're not Jamaican. You don't sound Jamaican. You don't walk Jamaican.
Yeah.
Your demeanor is not Jamaican.
Yeah.
So they can smell it. They
From
know
a mile
they know you're
away.
not. And I went on vacation and they're like, yeah, you're Canadian.
Yeah.
And you try to speak patois and they look at you and they go, I know what you're trying to do, but you're Canadian. Which is fine because that's who I am. My background is Jamaican. So.
Man, honestly, I don't know if I say it's fine. It feels, something does feel wrong. I can't even lie. Like, Jamaica's supposed to be our home country.
Right.
Right? So when you go back to that home country and there's a feeling of other from them, it can't sit all the way right with you.
Well, here's the thing. I also look at them and realize that Jamaica, the inhabitants, weren't born and raised in Jamaica. They were slaves who came from Africa.
Facts.
So there are different countries in Africa they came from. So I could look at them and say, well, if you were to go back to the country in which you and your heritage and your forefathers were slaves from, they'd look at you the same way you're looking at me. That's and then they would go, you know,
that's
something.
the thing. I don't think so.
I don't think they would.
I think if a Jamaican went to Ghana, they would be much more. That's a great point. I feel like if a Jamaican went to Ghana, they would be much more accepted than a Canadian in Jamaica, for sure.
Interesting. I think they would have to understand the culture because there is cultural dynamics that going to Guyana and then coming from Jamaica is two different things.
But here's the thing, though. If you were to look at a market, if you were to take a shot of a market in Jamaica right now, and then take a shot of a market in Ghana right now, they would look like synonymous. They look exactly the same, you know? So there is like a level of, I don't know, similarity that there is. Like if you just take a Ghanaian person and bring them to Jamaica, they'd be like, oh wow, this feels just like back home. You know, from seeing the population, from seeing the nuances, even there's still some languages like the word Picni. You know, there is a bit of cultural similarity that I think Ghana and Jamaica have claimed root in that we don't get to necessarily, you know?
Well, here's the thing. There are Jamaicans who are mixed. Those are Jamaican Chinese. There's Jamaican and they're mixed and they're white.
For sure.
So going to Ghana doesn't make any sense to them because they're actually biracial. So now them walking into someone who's Jamaican and China and Chinese going into Ghana looks at them and goes, I'm confused.
I'm very confused.
I'm confused. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you are. And the person who's going to Ghana is not 100% from Ghana. They're mixing a totally different culture as well that was merged together. So they have a challenge to be looked upon. And I think and you're right. I mean, if you go there and you're 100% from Ghana and you went to Jamaica and you're Ghana, you come to Canada, then yes, there's a lineage. But a lot of Jamaicans are mixed. And my heritage is my grandparents, slaves from Ireland. So I'm not even from Jamaica.
Yeah, because Dwyer is like an Irish name.
Dwyer is an Irish name.
Very Irish.
It's an Irish name. It used to be O. Dwyer. Took off the O. It's a Dwyer.
Yeah.
But my middle name to my first name is Irish, the English. That's it.
Yeah, you know.
So there's heritage there.
My last name is English, I believe.
Yes.
And it means like open field, Whitfield, right? So they cut off the E.
Yes.
It's supposed to be like Whitefield, like
Whitefield,
like not just white, but like white, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And I actually thought it was Cottonfield before.
Okay.
So I thought that they were naming names off of Cottonfield just so they could have like a general name for slaves. That was my original thought process. Okay. But from ChatGPT apparently says that it's just means an open field.
Right.
You know? Which is neither here nor there, but I think the crux of it is there is a real nuance to being a Jamaican Canadian where you go back and not only do you not feel similar to the not similar, but there is a gap, but you also feel like you're prey.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Being a man in Jamaica lets you know, hey, if someone was to go wrong, they're coming for you.
Yes.
You know? versus in other countries. When I went to Thailand,
Mhm.
it was completely different.
Yeah.
You know, you're looked at as someone of status.
Yeah.
It's a whole. Have you been traveled before?
No, my sister and my brother-in-law are teachers in Japan.
Okay.
And the story that my mom is just very quiet, reserved, doesn't like attention.
Yeah.
So when she went there the first time to help my sister out with my first niece,
Yeah.
she walked to the store.
Mm-hmm.
One of the students pointed to my sister and went, "Oh, mom, this is my teacher."
Mm-hmm.
And my sister said, "Oh, hi, this is my mom."
Mm-hmm.
Eyes lit up. Everybody turned around and rushed my mom. And my mom was freaking out, going, What's going on?" And my sister said, "Because I'm a teacher, I am giving their students knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
They look at you as my mother, as someone who also is high with knowledge. So you're going now from one state to a higher state because of how they treat people differently. When you're older, you're not looked upon as someone who can be thrown away. You're looked at someone to be revered. So when they see that, that's the difference with seeing prey as someone who's weak and someone who can take advantage of. To someone is, oh, that's the person who has knowledge and wisdom, and I want to take what they have. I'll listen to what they have to say. I'll respect them because we respect our elders in different parts of the world. It's unfortunate when you go to parts of the islands where that isn't upheld. In some parts it is, but yeah, going to a place where you're preyed upon because you're older and they think you're weak, it's not respectful, and that's difficult to digest.
For sure, man. And as y'all can hear, Clem is a speaker. You know, he knows how to articulate himself. Was it always like that for you?
No, I grew up with a stuttering, so it's a speech
Really?
impediment.
You too?
Yes, yeah,
Get out of here.
yeah. The shocking thing is when I tell people this,
Yeah.
people who I spoke to, eyes open, go, "I had one growing up as well," and they were surprised that I moved into the area of public speaking because they refuse to do public speaking. It holds them back because of what stuttering does to your self-esteem. And it is, what's the word I'm looking for, is it crushes your spirit, especially when you're younger, because kids don't know any better. So they make fun of you, they make jokes, and that affects you. And I grew up not wanting to speak in front of everyone because I thought I sounded like I was stupid. And that's the hard part, is they didn't know what it was. I just couldn't correctly and properly articulate what I wanted to say.
Mm. So, what makes a good story? Not just a good story, but
Mm.
I want to actually ask you something different. What's the significance of the ums and the ahs? Why do they hurt your speech?
Ums and ahs sound like you don't know what you're talking about. That's the bottom line, is it sounds like you don't know what you're saying and you don't know where you're going with this. When you're doing the ums and ah, it's a lot of times that you're speeding through what you want to say and your brain hasn't caught up to what the message that you want. So you go, so guess what I want to do? And I want to move down the street. That's because, and it sounds like you're making stuff up. Like, where are you going with this? If you listen to someone who says ums once or twice, you don't notice it. When you've trained your ears to now hear it, it bothers you because you're listening and that's what now becomes the only thing you hear is you know, I'm no longer hearing your message because it sounds like you're a butterfly going all over the place.
Is there a strategy to get rid of ums and ahs?
Slow down. That's the thing. Slow down, think your message through. Too many times we forget that when you're in front of an audience, the audience is there to see you. You own the stage, you own the time. Be respectful of the time, but if there's 20 people in that room, they want to hear you. They want to hear your message. It's up to you to make sure you present that message in such a way that it does not become distracting. So you have to learn to slow down. Learn to pause. That'll help the words that's speeding through your brain to slow down and catch up to your mouth. And that is something that I've learned through speech therapy. Is when your brain is going 100 miles an hour, but your mouth is only going 10, it becomes very congested.
You went to speech therapy.
Yeah.
What was speech therapy like?
Well, for 2 years before class, I had to go to, actually, it was a hospital. Went through the room, sat with a lady. Remember her? You could see her face. And we would sit down and she would talk to me and ask me to repeat sentences, read a book out loud. And I could do it because I felt comfortable in that space. What she trained me to do is, can you go home and do the exact same thing in front of your parents? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Then she took it one notch further. She said, can you do it in front of your classmates? And I went, no. And she was like, well, why can't you do it? I said, because they'll make fun of me. In my head, I had pictured failure before I had even started. That's why I couldn't do it. So what therapy meant is, if I could speak fast enough and get the words out fast enough, I wouldn't be in front of you long enough for you to make me laugh at me. That was my theory. But it made it worse because I just kept stumbling over my words. When she taught me to, Clem, just slow down. Pause, breathe. Let the words soak in. And I thought, okay, that's a lot of time. But what it did is, the words weren't going 100 miles an hour. My mouth and my brain started going at the same pace. It's like a metronome. If you have two metronomes going at different times, it sounds like a cacophony. But if you can get both of them going click, 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 it sounds magical. And that's what I had to learn through therapy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a confidence thing where because I want to get off stage,
Yeah.
I'm speeding my performance up to
Exactly.
hurry up and get off stage.
Yes.
But in doing that, I'm actually embarrassing myself.
I'm hurting myself. Yeah.
By speeding it up to hurry up the
Correct.
process.
Yeah.
Interesting. So when she was telling you to slow down, is there a process of slowing down? Like, you just take a breath or count to 3? Like, I want to get into the nitty gritties because
Right.
I want someone to listen to this and be able to have it in their back pocket when they're going to present to their board, when they're going to present in front of their class.
Yeah.
You know, like, let's get to some of the mental frameworks you use to help prepare.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
So what I do is, when I'm writing out a speech about to present, I use paragraphs. So if you look at a book, there are paragraphs meant to break up the story. If not, it becomes like a run-on sentence. And it becomes very difficult because now you're reading all these lines as fast as you can. Paragraphs break up what you're trying to say. Those breakups is when you pause. That's how I start writing out all my speeches, and I start reading it over and working on, this is a part where I pause. This is a part where I pause. This is a part where I pause. So it becomes so repetitive that my brain sits there and says, all right, we're not going to memorize everything. We just now know that there's certain things you need to talk about in this paragraph. Let's talk about it, but make sure you pause.
The more subscribers we get, the better the guests get. So please hit subscribe and support this Black-owned independent podcast. All right, see you in the show.
You have to almost mentally visualize what you're trying to say and what you're trying to convey. And that is what I've learned just by simply writing out my speech and looking at it, reading it out loud, finding out what sentences connect. And sometimes just finding 2 or 3 sentences is enough to impact somebody, as opposed to 5 paragraphs that you're speeding through, because people have to digest what you're trying to say. That's the key.
Interesting. Okay. I'm taking notes. I hope y'all are taking notes. Now, in this speech, actually, I want to stick on preparation.
Yeah.
How long should someone prepare for a speech? Let's say I'm going to present in front of a boardroom. I have a pitch I want to do. How long are you preparing?
That's a tricky question, because sometimes you might be called in to present the pitch 2 days from now. Sometimes you might be called to pitch 3 weeks from now. So that's the difference. It's knowing ahead of time, what's the concept? What are you trying to convey? Which is why I never memorize my speeches. People have asked me, did you memorize it? I went, no. I have a concept and I have an idea of what I'm trying to say. Because the problem we run into is when we try to memorize things, if something's out of place, then our brain gets flustered. because our brain wants order. So our brain says, oh, I forgot point 2. So let me go back and find it. And now I need to go back 4. Now I'm jumbling all over the place. You need to prepare to the point where you need to be confident. And the hard thing about that is you don't know when you're going to present. That's the difficult thing, is if time may not be on your side, but do you understand what you're trying to convey? That's the key. Because if you're trying to do too much, it'll sound like you're doing too much. You'll be forcing the issue. And that's when the fumbling and the mumbling comes in and you've lost what is it you're trying to say. You just have to kind of work backwards. If you know, you're good. But if you don't know, it's a tough question because I don't know when you're going to speak. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Now let's get into the actual story itself, like presenting.
Yes.
I remember watching a TED Talk and seeing, I don't know if you've seen this before, but there's a TED Talk from a world-winning speaker.
Yes.
And he brought out a rose.
Yeah.
You heard the speech?
Yeah, I've seen it.
All right. What I found interesting about it is people were roasting him in the comments, saying because he brought out a rose, he kind of lost the audience a little bit.
Right.
What's the best way to hook an audience when it comes to presenting and getting them to be attached to the first words you're saying?
Right. 2 things to back up. The people in the audience who were roasting him forgot he actually won the championship. So whatever you're saying does not at all reflect what the
outcome was.
The outcome.
Facts.
So by roasting him and say, oh, that was funny, that was not, yeah, he walked away with a trophy though. You missed the fact about why he brought the rose out. And that's the key, is if people miss the point, one of 2 things, either you never had it, or 2, people were never looking for it. Because sometimes people will look for your mistakes. And that's the tough thing about preparing for a speech, is you can't please everybody. There's going to be 100 people, someone is going to find something that they did not like. Just don't focus on that 1%. Focus on the 99, the 50% that actually got it. Yeah, so repeat your question again. I did a sidebar on that.
Yeah, I was talking about the hooks.
Yes.
When it comes to personal speaking. When you finally get on stage and you're trying to hit them with that hook to get them attached and engaged to your story, what advice do you have for people that are starting off the story?
One of the things that I like to do is I like to say build a rapport. And by building a rapport is asking questions. So if you can come on the stage and ask everyone, okay, raise your hand if this is the first time you've ever been in a speech contest. People raise their hand. You know what you've done? You've broken the ice. You've got them to participate. At the count of 3, I want everybody to say, I love speaking. Everybody says, I love speaking. Guess what? You've got them to engage. So now, by default, I've got you to agree with everything I've said. I've got you to want to hear more because you've repeated everything I've said. You've done everything I've asked for. That's now I've drawn you into my world. So do things that are going to have people ask questions or participate. All my speeches, I will always ask a question or I'll ask someone to participate in some sort of an action. Now I know you're listening. Now I know you're engaged. And what people don't want to do is by social awareness, they don't want to have everybody raise their hand and people are looking around going, why is everybody's hand raised? Now they look foolish because 10 people put their hands up. You're the only one who didn't. So that's a hook, is to get everybody on your side by asking a question. Another thing you could do is, if you have it inside of you, humorous, tell a joke. Be careful of the kind of joke you're using. Obviously, it can't be a crude joke because it's the type of environment you're on. That could sink you before you've even started, is by telling a crude joke. But if you can tell something that's funny and get people to laugh, again, breaks the ice. So humor breaks the ice. Participating breaks the ice. Asking questions breaks the ice. Here's something that's also powerful. In the speech that I did that won the championship, I walked on stage and I paused for like 3 seconds.
Interesting. Why the hell do you do that?
To grab your attention. Because now most people walk in and they go, hi, I'm Clem, let me present my message. It's an automatic bang. But when I came on, the whole audience just stopped and started doing this. What's he going to say? Oh, this is going to be very interesting. So I got your attention because you could hear a pin drop. And then I jumped into my message. And that's what happened. So a lot of people said just the 3 seconds caught my attention because you controlled the narrative.
Now, is that an advanced strategy or is that like an everyday thing that anybody can do?
Anybody can do it. Because pausing, here's the thing, there's power in pausing.
Okay.
There's always a pattern. So if you can pause to say, you know something, let me tell you a story. Now you're sitting here going, so what's the story? You're now interested in what am I going to say? I may say something and have you. Now I want you all to think this through. Listen carefully. Just do you see it?
Yeah,
Do you see that?
I felt that.
Just right
Yeah.
there. But it's how I did it.
Yeah.
I had eye contact.
Yeah.
I was focused on you. I'm looking at you and saying, guess what? Alex, this is important for you. Do not miss this. Have I got your attention now? Now you're not looking at your iPhone. You're not looking. I've got your attention. And then I proceed. So there's power in pause.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a step back.
Yeah.
What was your worst performance?
Oh, boy. Since I started Toastmaster or when I was younger?
Overall, I want to hear the
Overall?
worst because I got some stuff too.
Oh, boy. Grade 5. Speech orientation. Mrs. McMahon called the class and said, we're going to do speech orientation, or we're going to do speech oration.
Really?
And I went, what? And my class was like, what does that mean? We're going to do public speaking. You're going to write a speech, present it within 2 to 3 minutes in front of the class. I sat in the class, and I can still see it. I sat the back in class, and I went ghost white. Now, for a black man, that is very hard to do. All right. But I went ghost white. I froze.
Yeah.
And I went to the teacher and I said, Mr. McMahon, she goes, yeah, can I run around the school? She goes, what do you mean? I'll run around the school until this is done. I can't do this. She's like, but Clem, you have to do part of your mark. And I said, then I'll fail. I just didn't want to do it. It took me forever and a day to find the topic I wanted to pick, then to write it out on cue cards. When my name got called and I walked up, it was like she said public execution. I could hear the dun 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 dun, dead man walking.
Yeah.
I walked up there, I stood there, and I couldn't see anybody. I honestly went blind. I to this day, I swear that my class was there. I couldn't see anybody. Alex, it was the most frightful thing. 2, my chest started to feel tight, cotton balls in my mouth. I know this vividly, as if it happened yesterday. 3 minutes felt like 3 days. My topic was on football. I don't even know if anyone even got what I said. But it was the most painful 3 minutes of my life. I sat down and almost cried. It was the most heart-wrenching. That minute, I said, I'm never speaking in front of anybody again. I said, never, 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 I'm doing this. And I made a solemn oath that I was never going to do it because that was the most frightening, heart-wrenching experience I'd ever gone through.
Damn.
Yeah.
He got me beat.
Yeah.
Sheesh, bro. All right, so this is a real conquering thing for you.
Yes.
Like, this is you conquering like your childhood trauma,
Yeah.
not just getting a new skill.
No, yeah.
Sheesh. I thought I had conquered some stuff, but I pale in comparison. Damn. For me, I remember I always used to talk because I'm my only child.
Okay, yeah.
So I used to be at my grandma's house talking and talking and talking. Just about whatever. You know, as a kid, this, why? You know? And I'll never forget, like, my uncle saying, like, stop talking. Just stop, please.
Right, right.
And I used to think, damn, you don't want me to talk no more? And then I was fast forward years later, I had biology project in grade 11.
Okay.
And I worked my ass off
Hmm.
for this project.
Right.
And it was a make or break project.
Right.
I think my grade was probably like a 50 even.
Yeah. If you fail it, you're done. Yeah, I hear you.
And my teacher hated me. I was gonna shout her out, but nah, you don't get that shout out. And I went up there, had my notes ready, had everything prepared,
Mhm.
and I put the notes on the like laboratory
Yeah.
desk. You know how they have like that
Yep,
mixed use
yep.
laboratory desk
Yeah.
in the chem classes,
Yeah,
biology
right.
classes.
Exactly. Yeah.
I put it on there and I start talking. I'm killing it for the first few minutes.
Mhm.
But the paper I had wasn't stapled.
Oh.
So I'm looking down at my notes and I just make the mistake of taking one out and putting one down. And it ruined the whole thing. And I heard someone whisper at the back of their neck, "Oh, just stop talking."
Yeah.
And that brought me. It was like the biggest trigger.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Sheesh, dog, this is it.
Yep.
I ain't talking no more
Mhm.
unless I get it all the way right."
Right.
You know. So that's what led me to this. But turning white as a black man,
Ghost white, bro. Ghost white. Most fearful thing ever happened to me.
Yeah, man. All right. So when did you decide to really take this seriously?
The breakthrough actually came when a church, the first church I was at, I was asked if I would show up as a youth leader.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, sure, I can hang around with kids. I can play with kids. No problem. Then they said, all right, we teach Sunday school lessons. I'm like, okay. And they said, all right, Clem, we need you to be a Sunday school teacher. I went, that's not what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with everything. I play games. I'll be the enforcer. I'll play. But you want me to present? Not going to do. Remember, I already told you when I was in grade 5, I'm never doing this. And I stuck to it all through junior high, all through high school. I didn't want to present. Didn't want to present unless somebody was up there with me. And even then, I picked the smallest part. So I'm in there and I would always preface all the junior high kids. Remember, these are junior high kids from the inner city. If you're doing something wrong, they going to let you know. They got no manners.
Yeah.
No manners at all. So they're the rowdy bunch. Now I have to calm them, I have to get them to settle down and present this message for about 20 minutes. And I sat there and I would always preface, all right, guys, just to let you know, I have a stuttering problem. So it's going to take a while, but if we just pay attention, we can make it through. Did that like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then one day, the one kid, Mikey, never forget his name, he was the straw that broke my back.
Pause.
And I say this because the back that he broke allowed me to grow a new one.
Pause. Mm-hmm.
That's it. He said, Clem, why do you keep saying you have a stuttering problem? Is there a message you're trying to tell us? Because none of us hear you stuttering. I'm like, what? So I polled the class. I said, raise your hand if you heard me stutter. No one put their hand up. I said, guys, you're not going to get in trouble if you do. Just how many people for the last 2 months have I spoken? Yeah, you've heard me stutter. People are looking around going, Clem, we've never heard you stutter. We're trying to figure out, like, is there a point? Because nothing you're saying at the beginning makes any sense to what the message is. And I went, oh my goodness. I let my past fears become bigger than what reality was. At that moment, everything changed. At that moment, I said, so I'm not stuttering. It was all in my head. And every time I spoke, there was always a kid who said, that message touched me. That message was awesome. I like the way you present it. That led me to where I am right now because I believed in that moment, any message that God places on your heart, any message that comes to your mind is worth speaking about because it will affect and it will touch someone in a positive manner. If I gave up right there and then, I wouldn't be where I am. That was a kind of inspiring message from a kid who was the troublemaker, is the one who blurted out and said, I don't hear what you're talking about because I don't hear stuttering. He shone a light on a one problem that I kept making bigger than life itself. That's why I look and I tell people, I don't want to hear about your excuses. You make excuses for days. I want to hear what we're going to do about your excuses. We can get through. Excuses are hurdles you put in your own pathway of success. That's all it is. If you can get past those hurdles, you can do amazing things, powerful things, influential things. But you're putting hurdles in front of you. Nobody else. Not your daddy, not your mama, not the school teacher. You come with as many excuses as you want. You are putting them there. And if you can put it there, you can remove it. And I've been inspired by people who have the same type of story where someone said you couldn't do it. And they said, well, I'm going to work and find a way to do it. And because they did it, they inspired millions of people. That's the kind of man I want to be.
Big gems. You know what's interesting on that point, on excuses? I heard something the other day that really stuck with me. A guy was saying failure is better than excuses. Because you can learn from failure, but you can't learn from excuses.
Yes.
You know, you can try something, fail, and man, I was almost there.
Yeah.
If I had just done this, I would have gotten there. The excuse is no learning in it.
Not learning anything.
It just ends right there with that excuse. When it comes to storytelling, you know, I want to pivot to storytelling.
Yeah.
How can somebody tell a good story that's compelling? Because when it comes to communication, going through the Toastmasters, you know, I always make sure I want to talk to somebody who's done it.
Yeah.
You've been able to tell good stories. What are some of the tips and takeaways you can share when it comes to telling a good story?
The toughest thing, the first thing is to be vulnerable. That's the key to a story.
But then does it have to be personal though?
It can be. It doesn't always have to be. The one thing is I take about the vulnerability, but your story has to have a message. What is it that you are trying to get people to understand or to do? So whatever story you're going to tell, what is the end result? So work backwards. If you want people to stop drinking or stop smoking or stay in school, then your story has to work backwards to the point where everything I say leads up to what my end result is. I want you to do this, or I don't want you to do this. That's where your story has to begin. You work backwards. It's going to be compelling because, again, it's the audience you're trying to reach. If the audience you're trying to reach is trying to lose weight or to work better at their finances, then the story you're telling has to be around that. Don't tell me about flying a plane if it has nothing to do with balancing my budget. No matter how great your story is, it has nothing to do with why I'm here. You have to tell a story that means something to your audience, not to you, to your audience, because you're there for them, not for yourself.
Could you give an example of starting from the end and going backwards?
Yes. I spoke a story about overcoming your fears. That was my end result, was you can overcome your fear. My story that I spoke about overcoming my fear was, well, I had another one where I went to Hawaii. Yep, some of us had to go. I went to Hawaii and climbed a waterfall, 30 feet. Alex, not in any day in my life, living in this country of Canada, would I have ever climbed a 30-foot waterfall. That's the dumbest thing I've ever done. I would have never thought it through. Why? I'm thinking scared of heights. I go up there, I fall off, I'm going to die. So I would never have done anything that's exciting or that risky. Went on vacation and something clicked in and said, if your biggest fear is doing something out of the ordinary, imagine if you were to jump off this waterfall. What would that do for you? That would break a fear. That would be something that I said I could never do. Now I believe I can do anything because of that one act. It was a physical act of mentally saying, I can jump off this waterfall and I will survive. Not it might happen, because you can't be doing anything and thinking it might happen. You have to go in with every confidence to go, it's going to be right. It's going to be great. I'm going to overcome it. I did that. I haven't told my mom. She's never heard that story. So if she watches this, I'm probably dead. But she's never heard the story. But I did something out of the ordinary that I would have never done because I wanted to put my mind to say, Clem, you cannot allow your fears to stop you from doing anything. You cannot allow fear to push you away from where your direction can be. So my message was, don't let fear be your failure. Don't let fear hold you back. I started doing all that. So that I started from backwards. and worked my way through the story that reflected what I wanted you to get out of.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Okay. Working towards wrapping up,
Mm-hmm.
I think people can really take some tactical tips from this. Work from the back forward.
Yes.
And in the beginning of the show, you had some tips
Mhm.
on storytelling as
Yeah.
well. Could you repeat that?
Oh, well, your story should be relatable, memorable, and personal.
Relatable,
Memorable, and personal.
personable. Interesting. Relatable,
Memorable,
memorable,
and personal.
personable. How the heck do you know if it's memorable?
You'll know it's memorable when someone comes back to you and says, "Remember what story I remember you told me?" And I'll make an example. I spoke at a contest and I didn't win. Didn't win it. 6 months later, I showed up at another event. 2 people walked up and said, "Hey, you're the guy who spoke about." And I went, and because I'd done so many speeches before that or after that, I went, "What speech are you talking about?" They said, "Oh yeah, I remember in January, you were at a competition and you spoke." I went, "Oh my goodness, you remember that?" They, "Oh yeah, it was great." And they quoted some parts that I said. That's how I know it was memorable. I know it was relatable because I did another speech and someone walked off the stage and said, "I'm going through the exact same thing you're going through." I needed to hear that because no one I spoke to had ever been through what I was going through. Everybody gave me the cookie cutter advice, but you told it in a personal manner that you were going through these struggles and you saw a way out and you worked your way out. That's going to allow me to wake up each day knowing that it's possible. She remembered what I had to say. It related to what she had to say because it was personal. It was about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Listen, I'm not afraid now to open the door. This is what I struggle with. This is what I was going through. I no longer deal with that because this is the process I went through to get through it. So when you come to me and say, I don't know if I can speak in front of people," I'm like, "Oh, that's nice. You want to see my excuses too?" I don't want to hear excuses because this is holding you back. What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to go? Then we can work at it. But if you're going to sit here and keep telling me, I can't, then you're right. You can't. Then the conversation we're having right now is void. I, I don't know how I can help you. I don't know where you're going to go with this because the party that people don't want to come to are pity parties. People don't want to come to pity parties. People want to come to parties you celebrate. Tell me you're going through this and then say, "I am working towards. I'm going to fight it. I don't know how long it's going to take, but man, it sucks that I'm here, but I want to be here." You'd be surprised how many people come out of the woodworks and go, "Guess what? I can help you. Guess what? I can help you. Guess what? I can help you." Because people love to hear people who are on a journey and they're going somewhere. That's what I think people want to hear.
Okay. But now, from you validating those people, that was based off, not those people, but those stories. I'll say that again. From you validating those stories, that was based off of people telling it to you.
Mhm.
But without that feedback, how would you know?
You don't know. You don't know.
Got it.
You have to go out there believing everything you're saying matters. It's I like to present with athletes. If you've ever been on a sports team, no one starts the season saying, "Well, I hope we have a losing record."
Nah,
No,
definitely not.
no one ever sits there and says, "I hope we just break 500."
Mm-hmm.
Everyone goes in the mindset, "I'm going out there to win a championship." They have no proof that they're going to win it, but they go through it with every inch of their fiber saying, "We are going out there to win," or what's the point? If you're going to go out and just be mediocre, then don't show up to practice. Don't put in the effort. Don't train. Because it's easy to be mediocre. But to be a champion, you have to have that mindset. What I say, the Kobe Bryant, the Mamba mindset. Someone says, "You can't stop me." Kobe never went in saying that I might win a championship. Every game was, "I'm going to win this." Did it win? Did it win all the time? No. But you have to have that kind of mentality. Michael Jordan in basketball, same thing. Tom Brady, football. And I use sports analogies because that's the most competitive thing that you can see tangibly.
Mm-hmm.
No one goes in there thinking they're going to fail. No matter how big the odds are, you have to walk in there going, I am going to impact someone's life. You have to. Or you don't, then what's the point waking up? If I don't believe this podcast means something, if I don't believe someone's going to be impacted, why am I here? Why would I be wasting your time? Why would I waste? I could be go home and sleep, watch Netflix. But I'm here 8, 9 o'clock at night because I believe in what I'm saying. I believe in what God's placed in my heart. I believe that there's a plan for me. I don't go there half baked. 1,000 people on stage, don't care. Still going out for gold. Still going. You might walk away and say, I didn't get anything out of it. You might not, but someone else did. I have to have that mentality. And anyone who wants to be a champion always thinks that way, or you will never wake up thinking there's a reason why. You just go home going, whatever. I go home going, did anybody get it? Don't know. Next message. Curate this message. Tweak it a bit. Ask around. Sometimes you have to ask for feedback. And I've done that where I go, did you get the message? And someone may say, no, I didn't get it. Here's the point. Ask, well, what did I miss that you didn't get the point? And then learn from that feedback, curate it to become better. That's what I work on.
Bars, okay.
Mhm.
Man, you said so much. From what I gathered,
Mhm.
one of the main things you need to do is repeat yourself confidently over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you continuously do that, not only will you present with confidence, but you'll get the feedback to reassure the confidence.
Yes. Yeah. I like this. John Maxwell has a quote where he says, you have to bet on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses the analogy of poker. Now, I've never played poker, but I've seen the game. So I understand how it works. And there's always a scene where in James Bond, those other spy movies, you see they're playing poker.
Mm-hmm.
And someone looks across the table, looks at his hand, and he doesn't have a winning hand. He's got a losing hand. But he believes that he can win this hand. He believes he can win this game. So what does he do? Pushes everything to the center of the table and says, I'm all in. You know what that does to everybody else? Now they start going, oh my goodness, we're playing with a champion. We're playing with someone who has no fear. They don't know what he has. He knows what he has. And he doesn't know what the other 3 or 4 players have. But when you have that confidence, when you walk to the table with your chips up there and you say, all in, win or lose, but I'm here to play. Those are the words of champions. Because they may lose it, but guess what? They come back with the idea of, I'm going to get that money back. I'm going to go out there and win it. I'm going to go and try better. I'm going to learn. I'm going to find who the best poker player in the world is and learn from them. So when I come back to this table, I'm going to get my money back and I'm going to double it. That's the mentality that says you need to bet on yourself. Because honestly, Alex, if you don't, who will? I got to bet on me on a daily basis. I don't know if I ever be a well-known public speaker, but I'm betting that I'm going to go out there and do something, make a difference in someone's life. That's what I do every day. Bet on myself. You got to do it.
So I'm going to ask the audience, what have you done in the last 30 days to bet on yourself? What have you been doing? All right. I think we can work towards wrapping up on that, man. As we get out of here, what last tips do you have for the audience?
I guess the tips I have is whatever story you have inside of you is worth telling. Whatever it is, you may not think it's worth telling, but I guarantee whatever you have been through, whatever trials, whatever unpleasant situation you've been through, there's a purpose why you've gone through it. And like I said, there's a purpose for your pain. Your pain is not something that is unwarranted. There's a reason why you went through it. If you can learn from those lessons, move forward through it, you can help somebody else. That's where my therapy came from, why I speak publicly.
Yeah, it almost seems like your speaking is very therapeutic for you.
Yes. Yeah. Every day I wake up, there's a picture that I have of when I was 10 years old. I look at that and go, that's the 10-year-old Clem. I want him. I'm speaking to him every single day I get on stage. I'm looking at Clem, 10 years old. You don't think that what you have to say is important. You're tired of people laughing at you. Well, guess what? 40 years down the road, people are going to listen to what you have to say. You don't see it now, but don't give up. That's every time I look on stage, I see 10-year-old me. That's what I do, because 10-year-old me has to get here. That's what I do. So when someone walks up and says, hey, I've been through, I'm like, yeah. Not a single person in this room has never failed. Not a single person who's walking doesn't have a fear of something. You don't have a fight. It might not be stuttering. It might be you're dyslexic. It might be that you don't have self-confidence. It might be whatever it might be. Can you look at that lesson that you've learned? How can you apply it and move forward? Because if you keep thinking you can't do it, again, if you think you can't do it, then you're right. You'll be stuck in the past. Don't live in the past. Learn from it. We're never meant to be there. I see the future. I go, this is where I want to be. Will I get there? I have no idea. But I dare you to stop me. I've been through way too much nonsense to sit here and go, this was for naught. It can't be. Every story I tell is everything I've been through, because I know it was not for naught. And I will not have it be the death of me by going, I died because I never. Nah, it's therapeutic, but I also realize there's a reason for everything. So God hasn't put you through pain just because he had nothing else better to do. It's there to make you stronger.
Is that the main thing speaking has done for you, made you stronger?
Yeah. Yeah. It's made me so much more confident in myself. It's also made me more empathetic to people. Because even though we think communication is just one-way street where you're just talking, it's also listening. As a podcast host, the best ones, like yourself, do a very good job of listening to what someone has to say. And you're not listening to respond, you're listening to understand. And that's how your questions become inspirational. That's why your questions become so forthcoming. Why they're so deep. Because you've heard what someone had to say and you go, interesting. All right. What if I flip this question? What if I ask this question? Because you're learning something as much as your audience is. When you communicate, if you can listen, you will be amazing. And I've learned that just at work. When people found out, oh, you actually speak? Like, yeah. But you said you had a stuttering. I said, I had a stuttering. I said, I only say that to lay the premise. Whatever you think, whatever you've been through, whatever your struggle is, there's an end. There's an end. You have to walk through the fire to get to the other side. And that's why I speak. It's therapeutic, but it's also, I know there are people who need a breakthrough. They just need to know that there's a way out.
A lot of people need a breakthrough.
Oh, 100%.
One of the biggest fears in the world, the top like 5 fears, is falling off a cliff, fear of heights.
Yeah.
I think that's number 1. Number 2, public speaking.
Yeah.
Is there a methodology for getting over that fear?
Do what Nike says, just do it.
Man, I ain't rolling. I'm not rolling. I'm not rolling. Absolutely not.
This is what I found out. We overthink a lot of things. A lot of things we do in life, we overthink it. We overthink. If you want to stop drinking, the only way to stop drinking is to what?
Nah, bro.
Stop drinking. Like that's the only way.
BS, bro.
But here's the thing.
That's like someone with an addiction saying, "Yo, just quit. You're on crack."
No. But here's the thing.
Just quit.
You have to make an attempt to go. You have to make a decision. Do you want to stop or you don't want to stop?
Of course, you want to stop.
If you want to stop, then you have to start somewhere. You have to go step 1 to step 12.
Yeah.
You can't sit here and go, "Well, I just want to stop." And what? Well, I just want to stop. This is not how it works. You have to go through a process. So to get over something or to become better at something, you got to start somewhere.
You got to start the process. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to do it. But the mentality is you have to do it.
So here's the thing. The person clicking on this video is starting.
It's starting.
So like for the person that's just starting, saying just do it, honestly, it doesn't feel like it's a actionable thing to say, yeah, let's go do it. Because there's so much gap between becoming someone that's a non-public speaker. There's people who are just
Right.
like, listen, I don't want to speak in front of friends. I
Mhm.
don't want to speak in front of family.
Right.
I don't want to speak in front of anybody who hasn't heard me talk for 3 hours straight.
Yeah.
Like, that's a very regular feeling.
Yeah.
So for those people, just do it.
Here's the process. Just do it is the umbrella.
Okay.
What are you doing to just doing it? You see? So what I just had you do is say something and someone just do it. And you went up saying it can't be done.
No, I didn't say that.
So here's the thing. When you're
No.
just doing it, what do you want to do? So if you want to learn to start to speak effectively, watch YouTube, read books, take courses, watch classes. What is it that you want to do is to speak? Then that's what you have to do. You have to watch others who speak. You have to also do it yourself. So what I started doing is speaking out loud in front of the mirror. Because what a lot of people have is they can't do eye contact. It feels weird. And it could be sometimes a cultural. I think sometimes culture is you don't look at your elder in the eyes as disrespectful. Some people think if I look in your eyes, it feels creepy. I get it. But if you can lock on someone's eyes, it means I'm connecting with you. So that's something. Work on speaking. There's a technique that I say you have to record yourself, and it was by Vin Jiang. 4 things. When you write your message, you record it. You play it back with no video. Just listen to yourself. Then you play it again. Turn off the volume and just watch yourself. Then you're going to play back and critique yourself. So when I say just do it, steps that you're doing is I'm going to start speaking out loud. And again, you don't have to speak in front of 1,000 people. Speak in front of the one person that matters is you. You have to hear yourself. Okay. Some people say, I don't like my voice. I'm like, well, what's wrong with your voice? Because you hear yourself speak all the time. Now you're more aware. Do you hear what you're saying? Do you know what you sound like? If you can get that going, that's where you become successful. That's the steps. Is watch what other people are doing and mimic it. This is where copying is great. Just mimic. Everything I'm doing is I've watched numerous amount of public speakers and copied exactly what they're doing. Why? Because Alex, they're successful. Successful people copy successful people. So if I'm going to be like an Eric Thomas or a John Maxwell or Brian Tracy, then guess what? Watch them. Watch what they're doing. Listen to their nuances. Read their books. Get that information. That's going to help you along the way. Go to speech writing classes. Go to join Toastmasters and learn how to present. The beautiful thing about Toastmasters is everyone in there wants to become better. No one's looking down at you going, oh, Alex, it's your first time. I've been there for 20 years. Well, if you've been there 20 years, why are you still there? You know what their answer is? Because I still want to get better. Mind blowing. You've been there for 20 years. Yeah. And you've won 3 championships. Yeah. And you're still here because there's so much more to learn. Learning doesn't stop because you won awards. Learning doesn't stop because you've been in the game for 20, 30 years. Learning stops when you're dead. And if you're still breathing, that's the mentality you have to have. So you're going in there saying, who do I need to find? Make that conscious decision. Find a mentor. Find someone who's already speaking and say, Alex, you're in the podcast. I want to do what you're doing. I don't know how to form questions. I don't know what it means to listen. I don't have X, Y, Z. Mentor. Find someone and reach out and say, can you teach me? And if you can be teachable, you can learn all the tricks, tips, and of the trades. But that's where it becomes to just make that decision. When you make the decision that I'm going to do it, then yeah, you can become better because in your mind and in your heart, you're taking the initiative. Find those things and you can be great doing it.
There we go. I'm so happy to push back on you for that. I'm so happy because that's the real sauce. Repetition, recording yourself, finding a mentor, doing research. You have to go down the wormhole.
Yeah, you have to go down that hole.
Yeah. I think that's really what it is. To fix yourself, you have to go down that wormhole. And honestly, that kind of leads us to what we have going on.
Definitely.
You know, so audience, hustlers, we're about to do our first workshop.
Yes.
And this is new. This is like
This is gonna be awesome,
new frontier for us, man.
Yeah.
So a live workshop is happening. And honestly, I'm excited for it, man. You've heard Clem speak. And now if you want to like come in person and learn for yourself, this is the time to do it. So yeah, man, hit the link below and sign up for yourself. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have some refreshments. So I highly suggest hitting the link below and signing up. But honestly, man, thank you so much for joining.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I really feel like someone listening to this got some gems when it comes to public speaking, storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think if anyone even decides to come to the workshop, it's just going to be that times 10.
That's it.
You know? So thank you, man. I appreciate you. Hustle is what you can't control. So control your grind and control your life. I'm Alex.
I'm Clem.
That's the show, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.